How you doing? My name is Fred Lee. This video excerpt is on character, entitled, "It's not what you're doing, but rather how you're doing it." You see, no matter what you're doing in life, you have to do it with everything you got. No matter what you're doing. If it's making your bed, cleaning your room, going to work, going to practice, playing a game, taking a test, studying, babysitting, sweeping the floor, making a meal, or whatever. No matter what you do in life, you have to do it with everything you have. You can never do anything just because it may not be exactly what you want it to be. Just because you might be at a job that you might not think you should be at or you don't want to be at, it don't mean you should just show up and just half do it. Because what you got to understand is everything you do or choose not to do, it builds or either tears down character. Everything. So even if it's something that you think is just a simple routine, something that you don't even think matters or means anything, it does. Because what you do is who you are. And how you do it means something. Eventually. Like it eventually means something in your life, because what you have to realize is that life happens in steps. While there are people and opportunities that might come our way that could change our life drastically, you could have somebody in your family that passed away and leaves you fortunes or whatever. Now you're all of a sudden a millionaire, or you could just meet that right person that gets you right into a movie, acting, whatever. Those things happen sometimes, and I'm a firm believer in it. And if it happens, then I'm happy for you. But at the same time, everybody's life don't happen that way. It don't always happen right away. It's not always an instant bonus. It's not always an instant step up. Life happens in steps. You have to take small steps to get where you need to go. But see, even if you do get a drastic change, you still have to remain humble and content with where you're at in life. And as you go through stages in life, you have to also be humble at each stage in life. And you have to understand that these steps aren't just steps where you just take them and stop, but rather there are steps where you take a step and you take a step and you take a step. There might be times where you fall back or you take steps back, but the thing is, you got to just keep stepping. You got to stand up. And sometimes you might not can step. There's going to be times on this journey where you have to crawl. There might be times on this journey where you actually can run because everything is going good. But sometimes you run and you run in the wrong direction. Or sometimes you run and a roadblock hits you in the middle of it and you fall on your face. And sometimes you get knocked down. But the thing about life is you have to get up. You have to continue to go. You have to dig deep and find some kind of motivation to get you to continue going. And you can't stop for nothing. And the thing about life, what I come to realize is, and it touches on character, is that the same person that you are at the bottom of life is the same person you will be at the top of life. Let me break that down for you. You see, if you're down here at the lowest of the low, you can give me a peasant type lifestyle where you live in the lowest lifestyle in the possible. If you're a nice, humble, content, responsible, hardworking person, then when you become a king and be successful and you're rolling in dough and living a life, you'll be smart, humble, content, hardworking, whatever. That won't change. If you're at the bottom of life and you're nobody, worthless, lazy, non-motivated, don't care about other people, don't want to help other people, when you become a king, you'll be the same exact way. You don't have a switch where you can just turn off and change who you are, because who you are every day is who you become in life. You can't just change your character overnight. You can't just wake up and say, okay, now that I have money, I'm a care about people, but when I didn't have money, I'm not. Because money, if anything, money changes the way you are. So if you're a person who can handle not having money, then you will be a great person with money. But some people have no money and still can't handle the little money that they do have or stuff they do have. So having a lot of money will only just make it even worse. And see, the thing about life is you have to learn to appreciate small success and failures in life. You know, when I talked about those steps that you have to take, those steps that you have to keep taking or whatever, and how you have to be cautious that in each step you take, you do it with your full heart, because you never know who's watching. You never know who's looking at you. You never know what person is waiting to see something in you to give you an opportunity to change your life and your family's life forever. You could be one smile away from being a millionaire. A lot of people don't think about that. It could be the one person that you have no idea is watching you, who you show bad character to, and it changes their whole opinion about you, regardless of whether or not you are a good person or not. But that one day you decide that you don't care anymore, that you're not where you want to be at in life, and you don't think you can go any further, and you get content with where you're at, and you don't think that there's no way in the world that your life is going to get any better. That one opportunity that you had, you missed because you were thinking like that. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. I'm trying to touch somebody. I'm trying to help somebody get to a level that they've never been in life. You see, you never know what person is the person who is going to give you the breakthrough, who's going to give you the opportunity, or who's going to give you the job, or who's going to give you the connection to get where you need to be. You never know which bridge you're going to have to walk across, so you can't go around burning bridges. You can't go around not trying to make any, and you can't go around thinking that you can be your own bridge. Thinking that you can just Spider-Man through life and go all over the world on your own. You need people in life. I'm not saying you have to kiss anybody, but I'm not saying you have to do this, but you're going to need people in life, and you have to understand that who you are matters. And who you are in every aspect of life matters. Who you are around your family matters. Who you are when you're at work matters. Even if it's a fast food restaurant, a retail store, even if you're a custodian, even if you're a cleanup person, even if you're an overnight stocker, who you are when you're stocking those boxes matters. It does. And you have to live life with that mindset, because that's the mindset that will get you to being successful. Because any other thinking will lead you to poverty. Any other thinking, when you think, oh, nobody's watching me, I don't care. This doesn't mean anything. This job is useless. This is a pointless job. I'm not going to be doing this the rest of my life. This is not what I want to do the rest of my life. I don't care about nobody here. These people have been here all their life. They're going to be here all their life. I got something ready for me in my life or whatever. When you get that mentality, that's the mentality that will keep you where you're at for the rest of your life. I'm telling you. That mentality will keep you where you're at for the rest of your entire life. You have to think that no matter where I'm at, even if I am flipping burgers at McDonald's, I understand that this ain't what I want to do for the rest of my life, but while this is a part of my life, I'm going to be the best burger flipper that I could possibly be, because it builds character. Because who you are when you're changing, who you are when you're washing tires at Delta Sonic, who you are when you're flipping burgers at McDonald's, wrapping tacos at Taco Bell, taking orders at the drive-thru, giving somebody pants to try on in the clothing store, who you are in that moment is the same person you will be when you're the CEO of a company. And if nobody can see that you have character when it comes to a small, as you would call a small job, or something that's not as big, if people see you and they don't think you have character, then you will never get an opportunity to be anything great. You have to first show somebody that you can handle small success. That's why I talk about it. Small success. Once you show somebody that you can handle a little bit, then they start to give you a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. And before you know it, after you have stayed humble and content with those little bit of steps, if you add all those up, then it gets a lot. Why you think you might think a penny's not much, but you give me 100 pennies, I got $1. You give me 1,000 pennies, I got $10. It continues to add up. Small steps. Small steps is what you have to worry about in life. And the thing about it, and I'm about to take a real turn now. A lot of people don't understand this. While small success, now I got you sold on small success. Now you're thinking, okay, he got a point. Okay, yeah, I got to look at my life, and I'm taking small steps, and I'm good, and I'm good. And it's some people who gonna look at this video and they gonna say, okay, I got it. Thanks, Fred, I appreciate it. But it's some people that's looking at this video like he don't know what he's talking about, because see, my life ain't that good, because I'm not even making small success. I don't have any success, friend. My life isn't even going good at all. Like, I have no positive steps, friend. Nothing's going right. I don't even have a job. I don't even go to school. I don't have anything. My parents don't give me anything. I'm out here trying to struggle and live on my own. Or if I do, I'm living paycheck to paycheck, friend. I can't pay my bills. I don't have enough money to get my kids where they need to be. There's some people like that. But let me tell you, while small success, I'm about to make a point. I'm about to bring it all together. While small success is good, and you have to learn how to appreciate small success, and you have to be okay with it. You have to understand that failure. Oh yeah, failure. A lot of people get scared when they hear this word. Some people might cut this video off when they hear this because a lot of people are scared of failure. Failure, I would say, means more. Because let me tell you this. Excuse me. Small success allows you, a lot of people take it, some people get content. See, if somebody is successful once, that's all it takes. They feel like their life is done. They made that one step, that one transition. They got that one promotion. They got that one good job. They got that job finally making in the teens in wage. You know, they got into that school they wanted to get into, and that's good for them. They graduated and got their degree. Oh man, I made a step. I went 2 steps further than anybody else in my life, in my family ever went. Oh, I'm good. I'm successful. Because everybody in their family tells them, oh, congratulations, you're successful. You did something nobody else ever did. And then they get content. And then they mellow out, and years later, you forget that they even went to college, they did anything, because they were content with where they were at in life. And some people take small success, and they're like, this is nothing. Like I talked about earlier, they don't think it means anything. It means nothing to them, because it's not that big step they want to go. They got the promotion to a shift leader then instead of an assistant GM, and then it's over. My life is over. I didn't get the promotion. They got into 1AA college and not a Division I. Oh my God, this is stupid. I don't want to do this. You know, they got into they didn't get into Harvard or Yale or whatever. They got into a school. You know, they got into Duke or something. They didn't get into a Ivy League school. Some people, oh God, this is over. My life is over. It's not over. You still have places to go. And see that's why small success, they got a lot. Small success can go a lot of different ways. You know, you can take it positive, you can take it bad or whatever, but I'm gonna tell you have to learn how to appreciate it and accept it and be content with where you're at in life, and just understand regardless of any success you get in life is a progress or whatever. But let me talk about that word that I know y'all waiting to talk about, failure. See, failure means more, I think, than any other thing that could possibly happen. And I learned this because as a kid, you hate losing. And growing up in as people, you hate losing, and you hate to fail. It's me personally. I can't stand to not be able to do something. It aches my skin. It gets underneath me, and I hate when I can't do something. But I learned to realize that failure is seen as a bottom. It's seen as an ending. When you fail, you think you're at the bottom of the bottom. You think you're at the end of the rope. But see, when you fail, failing is a beginning. When failing causes you to have a new beginning in life, because you get to start over. Because see, to fail, you have to start doing something. So I'm trying to get it, and I fail. And most people say that's the bottom. But if you think about it, you just at the place where you started. So you had to restart again. So it's not like you went down the ground and you went back in it. If anything, you learned something. You went further because you went up and you started to build, but you fell back down. So now you're starting at the bottom, but you already got a notion of what it takes. And see, if you think about it, if you try something one time and you fail, the next time going to try, at least you do know what not to do. You know one thing of what not to do, and you might do it again and you might fail again. Now you know 2 things of what not to do. See, that's how you got to look at failure. You can't look at failure as it's over It's in the past. I can't do it. It's impossible. You have to look at failure as, okay, I know one way of not to do it. Okay, now I know 2 ways of not to do it. Okay, now I know 20 ways of not to do it. Okay, now I know 100 ways of not to do it. But I'm going to keep trying because I want to be successful. Because I want to be successful as much as I want to breathe. Because it means something to me. Because no matter how many times I fall, I'm going to continue to get back up. Because in order for me to not be successful, I'm just going to have to not be here. Because as long as I'm able to walk and breathe and talk and be in my right mind, I'm never going to quit. That's the mentality that you have to, that's the mentality you have to use with failure. Don't see failure as a way out. Don't use failure as a way to escape or a way to get away from the situation. Use failure as a way to say that I might have messed up this time. I didn't quite get it right. But you know what? I'm going to do it again. Because at least it might be a million other ways to do it, but now I know 999,000 ways that I can try to do it now. And then I'm going to keep going until we get down to 0. And eventually, I'm going to get to where I want to go. That's the mentality you have to take with failure. And I can remember working at Taco Bell. And I'm going to wrap it up after this. But I remember, I'll give you a personal life story. I remember working at Taco Bell. I never worked a job in my life. And I took this message, and honestly, I took this message in because it's always been a side of me. My mom, she did a great job at raising me. And shout out to her, and there's a lot of stuff that she told me, a lot of stuff that I'm sharing with you, stuff that she's told me in the years of my life, and I just added stuff to it and just from my thoughts. But I remember working my first day at Taco Bell, I was nervous. I didn't know what to do. I never worked in a job. I didn't know how to punch it. I didn't know how to do anything. But the one thing I took into that job is what I told you at the beginning. I took character into that job. Taco Bell meant something to me from the day that I filled out the application. And a lot of people laugh and joke, but like, whatever, you didn't care nothing about Taco Bell. If I didn't care nothing about Taco Bell, I wouldn't have worked there. And the thing about it is, I needed a job at the time. I needed money for the summer or whatever. I needed a job. I knew I couldn't call my mom and just ask her for a whole bunch of money. And I knew if I wanted to eat, I had to get out there and find a job. And I had to build character. And while I had never worked a day in my life, I wasn't afraid because I knew that as long as I showed up and I did the best that I could with what I knew and what I had, I knew that I would be successful in the job. It wasn't a question to me. And people ask, how would you balance that between football and school and stuff like that? It's because I have character, because everything means something to me. Because mentally, I'm not, even no matter how physical tired I am, mentally, I won't let myself not do my job the right way just because I'm tired, because I know it means something. Because my job at Taco Bell meant something to somebody else, because when people come to Taco Bell, they come because they want to eat, they want to get food. If we go to any restaurant and go to any place in the world, you go there because you want something and you want it to be done right. You want to have the best experience that you possibly can at everywhere you go, if you think about it. Because even if you go to a fast food restaurant and they give you poor service, the server has an attitude, your food comes out cold, it takes forever to come out, you're upset. It means something to you. So as a server at Taco Bell, I knew that I meant something to somebody, and therefore I had to do my job the right way, and I had to act in character. And then when I first got there, a lot of people considered me a kiss ass and said that, I did everything to match. But it wasn't that. It's just a lot of people aren't used to doing everything and it meaning something. A lot of people were just there going through the motions. They were just in a routine. And Dr. Reed, one of my teachers, he did a quote. He shared a quote with us in class. And it said, don't mistake routine for commitment. I think it's an amazing quote. Don't mistake routine for commitment. Because routine is just something that you do just because that. Your schedule, and you come to work and you know that you got to go to work and you know that you got to show up for 5 hours, and then when you get off work, you're going to do your homework or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And then you got to get up and you got to go to practice and you got to show up and do that. That's routine. After you get in the routine, you can do it every day and it's not bothering you. You get used to it. But see, commitment, you have to bring a little more. You have to bring your heart. If you committed to something, you have to bring your heart. You have to bring your soul, your spirit, your emotions. You have to put more into it when you're committed. See, when you're committed, it's nothing that can break what you're doing. See, routine can be broken. Routine can change. But commitment doesn't change. If you're committed to something, you're there. Rain, sleet, snow, you're there. If you're committed, you're there, because it's more than just your It's more than just you being there. Your whole entire body is there. Your spirit, your soul, your emotion, it means something to you to be there. So when I started working at Taco Bell, I would show up and and if I did the dishes, I did whatever I had to do at work. I stayed busy. Even if I was on drive-thru, I would go over and do dishes. Even if I was online making food, sometimes I learned the rest. I would go and take the order for people. I would go and do dishes. If the manager asked for something, it wasn't no standing around looking because I'm at work. And it's my job to do my job while I'm at work. So if they ask you to do something, you just get up and do it. And see, and the thing is, at the time I was working a few hours or whatever, I wouldn't get many hours or whatever. I never complained. I just showed up and did my job. And before you know it, I was turning down hours because it means something to people. Because somebody saw me. Managers saw me. GM saw me. They saw me working. They saw the stuff that I could do. They saw my ability. And they gave me flexibility with schedules and hours, and I can take off when I need to take off, and I show up and I work because they know that I would do my job, and they know that I'm committed to it. They know that no matter how much a person gets, I'm not going to walk out. I'm not just going to quit. I'm not just going to say whatever, screw it, I don't care. I'm not going to do that because when you're committed to something, you don't just do that. You don't just throw it away. You don't just throw it down. You just don't say I can't do it because you know that there are other people that depend on you because in a commitment, there's a relationship there. So there was a relationship between me and Taco Bell and the people who came to Taco Bell. I couldn't just leave because I was committed to them. And I know it sounds crazy and you're probably looking like this is Taco Bell. What is he talking about? But it means something. Taco Bell, everything you do have to mean something. No matter where you're at. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. No matter where you're at in life, it means something. Whatever job you work at, it might not be in the doctor's office or it might not be where you want. You might not be a doctor yet and you're prescribing to be one, and you might just be working at an ice cream joint, or you might just be working anywhere. You could be a taxi driver, a butcher. I don't know who I'm talking to right now, who's going to see this message, but know that where you're at, it means something. And the only way to get past where you're at is to enjoy and to appreciate and be content where you're at. Because no matter what you do, it matters how you do it. It don't matter what you do. You can do anything in the world. But if you don't do it with your heart, and if you don't do it with your emotion, if you're not committed to it, and you don't have character, then it means nothing. And you will never get anywhere else in life, because the only way to get elevated in life is to be humble and to be grounded and to appreciate where you're at. And so that's all I have to say to you today. Is just understand that it's not what you do in life. That's not the concern. It's not what you do. It is how you do it. When you look at people who are successful in certain situations and you wonder how did they get hairstylists or barbers or business people, how did their business get so successful? How did this happen? Because they were committed to what they were doing and because they had character. Somebody had character and somebody saw them and somebody trusted them. Somebody was there and enjoyed their experience so much that they decided to continue to come back, and a relationship built, and then commitment started, and then now that person is successful. That's all it takes. All it takes is somebody to see that you are somebody, and then they give you a chance, and then you continue to grow and become a better person, and then you move up in the world, and that's how you become successful. And people can sit here and tell you all these ways and stuff to make money and be successful, but it starts with you, and it starts with everything that you do. Everything that you do in your life has to mean something, and you have to have character in it, no matter what it is. No matter if you're cleaning your house, or if you're going to your grandma's house, or if you're going to the store to pick up groceries for your mom. You should do it with respect, and you should do it with character. It should mean something to you. You shouldn't just throw it down. You shouldn't just do it. Somebody asks you to do something, just go do it. If you volunteer to do it with everything you got. If you told them you would go do it. Don't back out on them, because that's character. Don't quit before it's over, because that's character. If you quit now, you'll forever be a quitter. So that's all I'm going to leave you with. It's not what you do, but rather how you do it.